Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Taste of Dragons, the Toddcast, the video game podcast everybody listens to.
Everybody.
Everyone I know. I don't know anyone.
Including Ed Boon.
Ed Boon?
Wow. Yeah.
You heard it.
You heard it. I said it.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, the website says United States. That could be anyone.
Yeah. I don't know what Ed Boon's listening to.
Yeah.
I do know it's listening to us.
Obviously.
Thanks, Ed Boon. This one's for you.
That's right. Toasty. Right for you. Mm-hmm. Well, my name is Brian.
I'm Lewis.
My name's Troy Davidson.
Every time.
I like my name.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Katelyn.
Only one of us has a last name.
Yeah. The rest of us are like Madonna or Beyonce.
Yeah.
Or I'm an orphan and I don't have a last name.
That's okay. Your last name is Snow.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to go to. Actually, no, he looks more like a sand.
He does.
Oh.
I'm okay with that.
All right,
Yeah.
Lewis Sand.
Yeah.
That sounds so much worse. That
that's
sounds terrible.
That's your name now, so.
That's the name now.
We're just going to start calling you Sand. We'll shorten it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
All right, well, let's start off with the games we've been playing this week / games we want to... The one game we want to...
The game of the week.
The game
for
of
us.
the week for us.
Lots
yeah.
of weeks.
Of weeks, yeah. Let's start with you, Zach.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
I get to
yeah.
go first?
Doing it
Wow.
up.
Yeah.
Unprecedented. I finally beat Sekiro. I had a scary moment because I was at the final boss before we had left for 2 weeks, and then when I got back on, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, you went to Japan right towards like the last like chapter or so of one of the hardest games of the year where you need to like learn the language of the combat to just get through.
Yeah.
Did you retain any of that language?
Apparently it was buried somewhere because at first I was like, I don't know, and then I realized I should grind some like EXP real quick anyway to get some skills just to go in for the last hurrah, and then I went in and I was like, okay, I remember how to do this.
Okay.
So
It's like riding a bike.
It still took me, I don't know, like 15 tries or something like that, which was a lot at this point because I was breezing through. I got into a rhythm. I was like not dying, and it was feeling pretty good. And like I mastered this. Woo!
So since you're at the end of this game, is it fun now that it's easier for you? Because don't you like these games because they're hard?
I don't know that it's not just the hard. It's mastering it.
Okay.
In which I think this is the one game that's different than all the other games that they've made for me, is that it's the first game that I feel like I have a level of mastery over. If I was to go back and play Dark Souls today, I feel like I would still die constantly. Whereas this one, I immediately jumped into a second playthrough after I beat it, and I'm like 3/4 through the game already. I died maybe a few times to a couple bosses just because I was being stupid, but I feel like I have total control over everything that's happening at this game now, so it's pretty cool.
Nice. So you're saying that you died twice? In the second
A little,
playthrough.
maybe more than twice, but
Just a little.
So how close... Because there's that opening boss, right?
yeah.
How close did you get to beating him?
The first time,
Yeah,
or just
the second time. Your second.
oh, the second
playthrough.
time I beat him.
Oh, you actually
Yeah,
did.
yeah, because
Wait, what happens?
so when you first play the game, there's a boss at the very beginning that you can beat, but seeing as you don't really speak the game's language yet, he's meant to beat you. That's how
Okay.
you lose your arm. Spoilers, you fight him a couple more times in the game.
Yeah.
So I have such a mastery over him that when I went to start the new game, I just beat the hell out of him. It was so gratifying. He's a
Wait,
joke.
So then do you not lose your arm?
Yeah, spoilers. What
Oh
happens
yeah,
to
you
your
get an
arm?
alternate cutscene. A random boomerang or something comes flying out of the sky, and you go to deflect it, and then while you deflect it, he cuts your arm off.
Wow.
He cheap shots you. So,
Yeah.
I was really hoping that would just be another ending where it's just like, hey, congrats.
You have your arm.
You have your arm.
Yeah.
You know, you saved the emperor. Good job.
The game-
That's like that other thing you told me when you met the merchant in your second playthrough,
Oh yeah.
and he was going to give you that item.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking
The
about.
guy was going to he was going to give you an item, and then you already.
Oh
had the
yeah,
item.
because he normally tips you off about the flame vent, and then I was like, cool, I'll buy the information. He's like, yeah, there's a cool flame vent. I'm like, I already have that. And he's like, oh crap, and then he gave me like a jar of oil or something like that as recompense.
What's a flame vent?
It's one of the prosthetics you can have. So he has tools that he can attach to his arm, and one of them is like literally a vent that shoots out like flame. It's like a flamethrower. you know?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. It's exactly what it says it is. It's a flame vent.
It's a vent for flames.
Yeah.
That's on your arm.
Yeah. I didn't mean to go long on that because I've talked about it before. But as far as new games, I started playing Katana Zero last week on Switch, and it's pretty rad. It's an indie game. It's very stylish indie game. It's like a synthwave, like retro 80s vibe, but yet you're a samurai. I don't really know why he's a samurai, but it's actually way more story heavy than I thought. I almost get the feeling that he's like mildly insane or something like that because everyone else around him is like pretty standard what you would expect like in the 80s nightclubs or something like that, and meanwhile you're just a samurai going through and trying to assassinate someone there.
Wait, what do you do in the game?
So they don't really tell you what's going on. You just get given these dossiers where it'll be like, go kill this person, burn this file whenever you're done reading it, and then you go in immediately into a mission where you'll go into a building and you have the power to slow down time. Which allows you to deflect bullets back at people, like get the jump on people and whatnot, and basically survive impossible scenarios. And what has actually happened in the narrative of the game is when he walks into a room, he looks around, he goes, okay, how am I going to do this? So when you're actually playing it, you're playing out like what his foresight's telling him he should do. And then once you do it successfully, he'll be like, yeah, that'll work. And then you'll see it actually play out like a VHS tape. And then you finish the level like that.
I love that premise. The idea that like, you're playing his thoughts. So if you die, it's just him being like, no, that won't work. Let's try this again.
Yeah, like
that's
fictionally. It's a good way to get around that like mechanic of just like, oh yeah, this guy just has unlimited lives for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no,
Right.
no, this is
Which
just...
we just accept as
Yeah, of
gamers.
course.
Like, oh, you die, you start over, no big
A
deal.
million times.
But that's a cool way to get around that. And
Agreed.
if he does have like problems, like popping pills or whatever he does, it could be really cool if his thoughts start betraying him. That'd be...
Oh yeah, especially if like later on he's like, all right, that'll work, and then like in the middle of it he messes up and he goes, uh-oh, and then you have to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's surprisingly story dense. I figured it was just going to be like a puzzle action game almost, but the missions are relatively short, and after every mission there's a lot of you walking around like going back to his apartment, and there's like weird stuff going on, and then he has a therapist that he has to visit before every mission. It's like, oh, what's going on? Have you been having nightmares again and stuff like that?
This is getting real.
As a matter of fact,
dialogue trees.
yeah, you can choose to like just like skip conversations, but like there'll be like a red meter, and if you respond before that red meter goes past, he'll like basically be like, I don't care about this. You just want to move on, and people will get annoyed with you. Whereas if you wait, you'll get like 3 dialogue options. And there was one mission in particular where this annoying lady just kept talking to me, and I chose to be nice to her. And then she ended up helping me at the end of a mission because I was being nice to her. And because I walked out at the end of the mission covered in blood, and the guy's like, you're the guy, you must be killing everybody. And I was like, nah, I'm in cosplay right now, dude. And she's like, yeah, he told me he's a cosplayer from this thing. And he's like, so he's cool. So I just like walked out. I didn't have to fight this guy.
So I had the inverse when I tried it earlier from you when I borrowed yours. And I was mean to that lady. Not mean, I was just like, I have no time for you. Just let me through. I don't care what you have to say. I was just like really angry and blew past her. When I came back to the same scenario where she's there and she helped you, instead she was like, there he is. Get him. And then there was more people to come and kill me.
That's funny. It'd be really funny if like the last boss is kind of like what is it, Sherlock 2, the second movie where with Moriarty, where at the end he's like, he's going through his mind like, oh, I'm going to do this, and then Moriarty's like, surely now you don't think you're the only one that can play this game, and then Moriarty also interjects with what he's thinking. So
like,
if they're like the
I'll
last
counter
boss,
like this.
yeah, the last boss is like, nah, it's not going to work, because I'm going to do this now. Oh, you're going to do that? No, I'm going to do this now. Like, that'd be kind of cool.
The battle of the minds.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they say. Samurai is very. A lot of it is very mental.
I mean, it fits. That's how Sekiro was, I guess, basically. Some
Wow.
of those guys.
It's like you never stopped playing Sekiro.
No,
Wow.
none of us do.
Yeah.
None of us
Yeah,
do.
you never leave.
Sekiro is life. Sekiro is life.
All right. Well,
So that's
how much?
It's Katana Zero.
Katana Zero.
Katana
It's on
Zero.
Nintendo
Katana
Switch
Zero.
only, I believe.
Switch
Only on the
yeah,
Switch?
I believe
nice.
so, yeah.
It's an indie.
Ooh, it's an indie. So how about you, Lewis or Mr. Sand?
So games I've played this week. I played Hyper Light Drifter on the Switch.
Nice.
Which is a game that came out for the PC
Forever ago?
Yeah, like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And then I just picked it up for pretty cheap on the Switch. But then the game I want to talk about is the newest game of the week, Days Gone. I've been waiting for this game for For like a year.
Yeah.
I want to say a year.
For days.
For days.
An amount of days I have listened
Um,
to You Want This Game.
Yeah, and it's because I mean, and a lot of people didn't want it. Like I know some of you guys were kind of turned off a little bit at the beginning.
Correct.
When I saw the trailer, I was like, oh yeah, I want that, 100%, no doubt in my mind. No matter how ridiculous that ocean of zombies
I was gonna
looks.
say I want that. I want that zombie water.
I was just like, oh, open world zombies, yes please, every day. And now I've been playing it. I started playing last night, and I played for a few hours today as well. It's fun. Just some of the mechanics seem a bit weird. Like I think the weirdest thing for me, and you and I talked about it, Troy, is for those that don't know, Days Gone is an open world zombie game where you explore the world on a motorcycle.
Open world zombie biker.
Yeah, and
Third person.
and you explore
survival
it.
game.
Yeah, and you explore it on motorcycle because you used to be in a motorcycle gang. Correct?
Yeah, you used to be in a biker gang, and you're still wearing the vest at this point. It's just you and like your best friend who are both a part of this old gang that doesn't exist anymore, obviously. But the mechanics for riding the motorcycle are absolutely terrible. It is like really hard to maneuver the motorcycle without crashing into something and everything. The game starts, like the first time you get to play, you're riding your motorcycle. And the guy you're following is like just like weaving in and out and like just making turns, and I'm over here just like wobbling. I'm like, how do they expect me to follow him? He goes like over hills, and I'm like, nope, and then I fell over. I'm like, well, obviously that was gonna happen, and he keeps driving. I'm like, cool, I'll catch up. Yep, that's cool.
What you don't know is that your character was like that even before the apocalypse.
he's just the worst like rider ever. But besides those terrible mechanics, the game's pretty fun. It's whenever you kill any zombies, they have like very specific little sequences of when you're stabbing them and when you're shooting them and when you're fighting people. And when you shoot them with like, I've been shooting with a shotgun, like pieces, like chunks of them come off, which is pretty damn cool.
Then you sell those pieces for money and trust later.
Yeah, like ears. Like you pick up ears from the zombies you kill and you use it as currency.
That's weird. I thought you were just messing around,
Nope.
Troy. Then you started like, oh,
nope, that's
no.
real.
Oh, that's real?
That's real.
Oh, I thought you were making like a Moonlighters joke or something.
You collect ears.
You collect
Nice.
ears.
And in the future, your currency is not just money, but it's also trust. So it's actual like a monetized number. That the more that you barter with a like bandit, like a survivor town, the more they're like, okay, you're bringing things in more often. You're bringing food. You're bringing scraps. You're bringing zombie ears. I guess we trust you more. We'll let you look at more of our stuff. It's their way of locking.
Oh, okay.
It's
items.
it's like an honor system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Caitlin, what were we gonna say?
How many hours have you been playing so far?
I want to say probably like not a whole lot. Maybe like 4 or 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not a whole lot. I still have so much to explore. I've explored a very small amount of the map, and I've been doing a lot of the story stuff. Not a lot, like a decent amount of the story stuff, and then some like just random exploration. And the story is, it's funny because instead of just making you follow one main story, there'll be like multiple missions highlighted, but all of them look like their main story missions. I'm like, well,
Which one do
I
I do?
follow? And then sometimes it's just like, oh yeah, you can clear out this entire thing if you want. And it's like, okay, I guess I'll do that. And yeah, I haven't encountered a horde yet. That's like the big thing. I remember. I've just encountered like small groups of zombies or no, they're called freaks. They call them freaks.
Yeah, they call them freaks.
Yeah, they call them freaks, and they all look the same. They all look like these weird, bald, like golem-looking creatures.
Precious.
They're wearing different clothes. And
They are wearing different
there's,
clothes, but like they're all like bald
zombies.
Yeah.
golem zombies.
Generic.
Generic golem zombies.
Except
Ooh,
this is the one thing that I have never seen in a zombie
At all, ever.
game. Children.
zombie
Zombie kids
Ooh.
It's amazing.
that are a-holes.
They're just the worst. Like I'll just be like scrounging around, and then I hear like a little something. I look around, there's nothing, and then all of a sudden it jumps on top of me, and it's like just clawing at me, and I throw it off, and I have a bat, and then I go to hit it, thinking I'm going to have to hit it a bunch of times. No, I hit it once, smash its head into the ground. I'm like, I just killed a child.
It's just now.
I just
You
killed a
killed a
child.
freak,
It's
not a child.
It's a little sad too because it actually runs away from you at first. Like if it sees you, it's not going to like make direct contact
No.
unless you're right in its face
They run
or if
away.
you're coming into its territory.
Yeah.
But mostly what it'll do is scurry like a cockroach or a rat or something and get up on a ceiling or get up on a roof. But they are pretty easy to take down.
No, yeah.
You know,
like,
they are children.
They are children.
the
but
character has straight up said, yeah, that's right, get out of here, get out of here. And like you see them like running away from you.
Little
Those are
kid,
the noises. Those
They're
are the
saying
noises.
like, "Mommy, help me!" in freak language.
So they're just like gollum, gollum, gollum.
Got him, got him, got him, got him, got him. That's
So
it.
they're
Yeah.
Murlocs.
I haven't
Yes,
seen
they're Murlocs. Yes.
I haven't seen any zombie game do that. Usually it's just
Game, yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
it's just like, oh, the kids all died.
Yep.
There's no kids in this game. They all got eaten. Let's not think about it. Move on.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, because like Walking Dead episode 1,
Episode 1, child.
you see a child,
Yeah.
and you see him murder a child on top of that.
Yeah.
So, or not murder, but
Yeah.
protect himself.
So I gotta ask because
Yeah.
I was not as much as you, but I got on board with this game a little while ago. I had it pre-ordered. Then the review scores came out, and I ran away like a scared little girl.
like a scared zombie girl.
Well, because the other game that I bought this year that I was back and forth on, I ended up buying, and I haven't played in probably months. So I was afraid this was going to be another that.
Hey, Anthem's gonna get better, okay?
Just
Eventually.
The two review scores the first review scores I saw were like a 5 and a 6 out of 10. Is the game better than that, or is that extremely hyperbolic? Like they're saying that it gets very like the story is okay, but it's very repetitive and grindy and tedious to play through.
I can't say what it is yet.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm far
I
enough
haven't
in.
played
Yeah,
far
probably
enough.
have to ask him. Well, we can ask him next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you a numbered review next week.
Yeah, next
Okay.
week I
But
can give a more accurate review.
I have had very unique moments in this game based on the fact that it's an open world and a zombie game that I haven't gotten from any other zombie type game that I've played.
Agreed.
That sense of danger where you're just roaming the world and you're not doing a mission, you're just trying to get from point A to point B, and it's up to you how you get there.
Gotcha.
And just that kind of, you really feel like anything could happen. I come across a supply depot. I can raid it. There may be some things in there, or there may not be. I need to get gas for my motorcycle, and all I'm doing is trying to get into a gas station and get the gas. It's fine. When I get back, there's a swarm at my motorcycle. It's just that randomness that open worlds have mixed with that zombie atmosphere that's doing it for me. And they give you 3 difficulties: easy, medium, hard, and they lock you into it. You can't switch out once you're in, which is unfortunate. So I did a little research, and it said pretty much that if you go on hard, it's going to be that experience of like you get hit twice and that's it. Like you really have to be careful. You really have to survive. And they said medium is more of like a fun arcade. Like you'll take a couple hits, but you'll be able to beat up people and whatever. So there's some avenues for how you want to play the game, but it has been really fun and mysterious just exploring the world, knowing that anything could happen at any moment and can go real bad.
Yeah, and
Very
you can
nice.
fight or you can run away, which is really
Fight or
cool.
flight.
Yeah, fight or flight. And sometimes I'll come across like zombies that start running towards me, and I go, nope, no, and I jump on the bike and I just drive away.
Just nope out of there.
And just nope out of there. And
Directly into a tree.
because
It is hard to
mechanics
control.
are not great. I have run into a car and then zombies have overtaken me. And I go, I was making a left turn, but sure.
When you
we've
hit
learned-
the car, do lights go off or a siren or any like a car alarm?
Sometimes certain cars.
Some cars have alarms.
Yeah, and you can open the hood and then turn it off.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, and you can open the trunks of cars to get like supplies and stuff like that.
Have you had a zombie pop out of the trunk yet?
Yep. I have.
You have?
And I knew it was coming, and it still got me.
That hasn't happened to me.
Yep. Watch out for those trunks. That lady zombie came at me.
I've opened quite a few and like no, I'm
Watch
cool.
out for that
Trunk.
Now I'm gonna be on alert. Now I'm gonna just be super cautious of that.
Welcome to Days Gone. Since there is a day-night cycle, which is kind of interesting.
Oh, God, I hate that
Every
day-night
time you
cycle,
press
man.
pause, it says like 734 days gone from whenever the event was.
Ah.
So as you play the game, it'll just keep ticking up, whether or not you're doing missions or not.
Yep.
So you just have this kind of actual real-time scenario, I guess, moving forward.
Okay.
And more come out at night.
Yeah.
And they're a bit stronger.
Does that time signal, is that like a static, it's always moving, or is it like some video games where it's like, oh, I feel like it's been daytime for like 12 hours, but now it's like nighttime for like 3 seconds and then it's back to day again?
It moves.
Okay.
It moves consistently.
Okay, it's consistent.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. How about you, Troy? What did you end up playing this week?
Mortal Kombat! Punch! Kick! Give me your eyeballs!
Yeah, there it is.
Tell me,
Ripping
Brian.
out your spine.
Ripping out your spine. Toweling off with it. Do you like fatalities?
Yeah.
Yeah? Katelyn, do you like brutalities?
Ooh, I think so.
Oh. Zach, do you like convoluted systems with a lot of currencies that don't make sense and then having to find different gems and slots and level up your gears over time, but then those gears don't mean anything because you need new gears to level up over time, and then all your characters have different moves, so you don't really know which moves go with which, but you figure it out in the end?
Yes.
All right, well, I have a game for you.
Yes.
Mortal Kombat 11 is out. The latest installment of the 1990s classic historic fighting game, the bloodiest of bloodies, Mortal Kombat. It's a fighting game, and the fighting is good.
Yeah.
Like, if you like fighting games, this is a fighting game that you will enjoy. The moves are still crisp. The moves are still easy to learn, and but still there's a lot of depth within it to master. The fighting feels good and it looks fun, and it feels as fun as it looks, which is all you want in those games.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard it had an extremely in-depth tutorial system, though.
The tutorial system is really robust.
Yeah.
It goes through the regular mechanics for the game, but then what it also does, it has modes that allow you to understand what pros do, like counting frames and what frame counting means and how to like actually understand it, and they dumb it down for people like me who's very casual when it comes to these fighting games.
Yeah.
And make you feel like, oh, I kind of understand what pros are talking about, or when they're actually playing these games at a professional level. So the tutorial is really robust, and it's detailed, and it's easy to follow, and I honestly think it's probably one of the best things about the game.
Cool.
That being said, I've played a lot of Mortal Kombats in my life. And when they kind of rebooted the franchise with Mortal Kombat 9, I've played that, Injustice Gods Among Us, Mortal Kombat 10 or X, Injustice 2. And to be honest, I am just really burned out on the fighting in that game.
Okay.
Because it's just... it's the same.
Yeah,
it's the same move sets. They do different things. They're different qualities, sure, but I'm still pressing more or less the same buttons and styles to do what I've been doing for like 10 years now.
Yeah, it's still the same NetherRealm engine.
Yeah, which is great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's a great fighting game. I'm just a little burned out, and I feel like the game knows that because every mode in that game, whether it's the classic tower mode or everything but the story mode, you can set to an AI where it just fights for you.
Wow.
Yeah. This is like the first fighting game made for people who don't really like fighting games.
Wow.
It's like
That's
it's like
weird.
it's like fighting game manager.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
And it may sound weird, but it's actually the only reason why I'm enjoying this game as much, because I almost didn't get the game like you, Zach. I was kind of back and forth on it because I was just so burned out. I really got into Injustice 2. I joined guilds. I tried platinuming it, like daily check-ins.
wow.
I went as deep. I had like 3 mains. I
Damn.
went in deep on Injustice 2. So I just wasn't ready for another one of these right now. But the fact that I don't actually have to fight that much makes me enjoy all the other things in this game. And there is a lot to enjoy outside of fighting in this game, I think. To be honest, it felt like the story mode and what they do with the new crypt, the loot box mode, like that felt to me like it was either like dessert or like the part of a meal you enjoy, and the fighting was like the vegetables that you like have to do to like get through it, or like you have to do that in order to get to the things you want.
You mentioned loot box system. Have you put any money in the game for loot boxes or anything just yet?
I haven't put any real money into any loot box systems. But I tried to today, and you can't.
Oh.
So the way that loot boxes work in the Mortal Kombat universe is they have this thing called the crypt, and instead of you just getting like a drop of a random loot box, they hide them in a 3D rendered kind of point and click adventure type world that you have to navigate yourself. It's like a huge, expansive graveyard mountain, and you pretty much are a generic character, and you physically run through this area ripping open boxes for in-game money.
Interesting.
Now, the boxes are littered everywhere, so it kind of feels like this Easter egg hunt, but if you did Easter eggs and then when you found an egg, like they took $50 from you and said, now you can open it. And then you're like, oh, great, Reese's Buttercup, awesome. Or you could be like, whoa, a diamond. You don't know what you're going to get in there.
Yeah.
That mode is actually really fun because they lock out certain parts of the crypt, and there's puzzle elements to try and open them. If there's a wall here you can't get through, you need to find the hammer of Shao Kahn to knock it down, to get to this, to get to the other side, to get Raiden's staff to put in this slot. I actually spent hours and hours just exploring this loot box world without actually opening any because I ran out of money pretty quickly opening them. But it's cool. It's a cool way to do something like that you don't have to do.
Yeah.
The game is dripping with nostalgia, literally dripping with bloody nostalgia. If you've ever played any of the other Mortal Kombat games, it follows the storyline very nicely and does a lot of nods to the earlier franchises. The story mode is crazy as can be, but so much fun. It felt like a great just movie to watch. And the way that it unfolds with time travel, bringing in characters from Mortal Kombat, 1 through 3 to come meet their current selves, having, young Johnny Cage be a total like douchebag, and then old Johnny Cage like slaps up the head. Is like, is that really what I'm like?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, character progression. It's just really gnarly to see them play with their own franchise.
Yeah, and isn't the main bad person literally like pretty much time itself?
Yes, she is the embodiment of time.
Yeah.
And she is so mad at Raiden, the Thunder God, because the past 2 games he's been changing time to save the world. And she's like, nah, I'm time. You're messing with me. You know what? You don't exist. And so she set all these things into motion to eradicate Raiden from existence.
Wow.
So that he won't mess with her anymore. It's so dumb and it's so fun.
So dumb but amazing.
The story mode is always my favorite part of all of these NetherRealm, last generation games. And this one delivers just as it should.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a super fun game. It's really brutal. I think if I could give you 13 seconds of the audio of me playing this game, it's this. That is literally just put that on a loop, and that's me playing that game entirely.
Man, that sounds like my prom night.
Hey!
Well, that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah,
that sounds great, but like weird. Because it's a fighting game that you don't enjoy the fighting with.
And yet I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah, and you're still enjoying it.
I think that's just good game making.
No, that's great. That's great.
But that being said, come on over. I need some people to play.
I was about to say, I can't wait to check it out at your place. I'm not going to buy it, so I'm glad you bought it.
And it's great. I won't be that good at it because I'm not playing the fighting.
Awesome. Well, I guess I'll go next then, Katelyn.
Okay. What have you been playing, Brian?
I have been playing a game called Forager, which came out on the PC. I think it's out for a couple other systems, or it's going to come out for Switch and a couple other systems. I can't remember for sure if it's out or not. But I got it on Steam. It's actually produced by Humble Bumble because they have a production arm.
Humble Bumble.
Which Humble Bumble is Witcher 3. The people who do Witcher 3, they actually own
CD.
Yeah,
Red.
CD Red. They actually own Humble Bumble.
Really? Oh wow.
So technically they're producing it, but they're not. But anyways, let's get back to the game. Forager, though, it's a cute little indie game. It's like $20. But basically, it's kind of like capitalist. What is it? Stardew Valley. Pretty much.
Oh, okay.
It has skill. It has a skill progression system. Whereas you level up, and as you level up, you can unlock skills, of which those skills unlock like around them areas. So you don't exactly know what the skill tree looks like until you unlock something around it. So like if there's like 4 different areas, like one of them's like the building one, the other one is like a magic type place, another one is commerce. And the 4th one is, I believe it's, I think it's like hunting or something like that. So depending on which side you start to go to, those things will start to unlock. So you can be like, oh, I guess now I can get a bank in order to generate money for me, in order to buy more lands, in order to get a bunch of other things. So it's basically just you run around with the pickaxe and you kill stuff, and then you also craft things as well. So you can build a furnace, you can build an anvil, and then
Cool.
So what's the end game for this?
the end game is to build up enough money in order to buy all the lands around you,
And run everyone out of town.
everyone out of town. No, it's basically you
Murder
start with
them
one.
all.
You start with one land, and it's surrounded by ocean, pretty much. And it's all like it's basically like 8-bit. It's all very simple. But as you buy lands around you, the lands actually pop out of the ocean. And so you and then what's on those lands are also different. So like you have temples that can spawn on specific lands. So you go inside and now it's a dungeon. Now you go around and you kill things, and then once you're done with that, once you kill the boss and the dungeon's complete, it puts a little checkbox on the front and you get a little seal. And it's like, okay, cool, you did this, good job. So in every single land you unlock has something special about it. There's a little bit of puzzle mechanics as well that happen in it. So like there's some lands that have like it says like 843 on like the left hand side of it.
Okay.
It's like, oh, this is weird. And then like I saw a couple more of them where it was like one of them it was 297 on the top, and then to the right it's it said a couple other things. And then when I got towards the end of the game, I found an island where it was surrounded by little switches on the top, left, right, and down parts of the island. And I was like, this is really weird. And I looked down and it had the final piece that I was looking for, which was the bottom parts of it was like 1, 2, and 7 or something like that. I was like, oh, this is the order I have to set these switches in order to unlock the treasure box. So I had to go back through all the lands in order to find, and I actually wrote it down on my phone with what I had to do. And so I was like writing it down on my thing. I was like, all right, so this is the 1, 2 thing, going over to the other land. And and actually I was like, okay, so this is how I have to do it. So and so that was a fun little like simple puzzle.
Like The Witness all over again.
Yeah, but it's all like real simple. Like it's super simple. Like, but that's how all it is. It's just real simple tiny puzzles to get you to give you a little flavor.
Okay. But the main chunk of the game is foraging.
It's just
getting
foraging around, getting material,
turning them into other things,
which would then in other things also turn into other things. So you just start with the pickaxe.
Who do you play as?
A person.
Okay.
You just start as person. But you can also upgrade. You also upgrade your weapons. You unlock new tools and weapons, and then as you unlock those, you can also upgrade those as well.
Okay.
And as you upgrade them, they do more things. Like your pickaxe, eventually, like when you hit something, it sets it on fire.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's and then the final thing for your pickaxe is it explodes around it, which is great because if you're mining what is it, resource or something like that, if you're mining a rock, when that explodes, anything around it also explodes. So it's like, oh, okay, great. This is
Makes life easier.
it makes things super easy.
Bomb ass.
Yeah.
could
So
have used that in Harvest Moon.
And the entire thing, like all the achievements are extremely super simple. Like it's only been out a couple of days, like I think 5 days. And I went to check today, and I think I have like 73 out of 86 achievements.
Okay.
You're
But when I
wow.
checked the global stats or whatever, 3% of the people have all of the achievements,
Wow.
which is kind of high for this types of games, especially an indie game,
Right.
But
Yeah.
because normally it's like 0.8%,
Oh.
but this is like it's 3%. Oh, yeah.
Are you gonna
that makes
do it?
sense. Yeah, I'm doing it.
That's
But
his
even then,
goal.
I have 73 out of 86, and I'm only 8 hours through the game.
Oh,
It's
wow.
not an extremely long game. It's
Okay.
just
Oh,
as
it's
you
yeah.
snowball, it starts to snowball, and you get more and more and more.
Seems like a really relaxing game.
It is.
Yeah.
It's extremely relaxing. So that's what I've been playing this
Nice.
week.
Well
So-
done.
Nice.
So Katelyn, round it up.
Katelyn.
I have been playing Tetris 99 because when I went to Japan for 2 weeks, I did not bring my Switch with me.
Shame.
And yeah, but I played Tetris every chance I got. But since I did not bring the Switch with me, my skill has lowered a little bit. I can only get up to, I think the top I've hit since we've gotten back is 13.
Boo.
Yeah, so
God.
Katelyn,
What
you're-
I need to get back up there.
You're our Tetris grandmaster.
I
Yeah.
know,
What
I-
are you doing?
You
I'm
gotta
working on
carry
it.
us to victory.
I will,
Come
don't
on.
worry.
Come on.
Okay.
My shoulders can carry the burden.
They
Oh,
can.
Yeah,
Ed Boone's listening.
Come on. Step it up.
I will.
There will
I
be
hope
no
to
Mortal
bring honor.
Kombat 12 if you don't win.
That's right.
That's his rule.
Well, I have to go out of town for a couple of days next week, so I might bring the Switch with me then. So
Why
I can.
might? Just do it.
Well, I don't know how much time I'll have to play
Ugh,
it.
whatever.
You're like Shia LaBeouf and just
do it. So hopefully, maybe then I'll be able to play a little bit more
Fingers crossed.
and get us up there.
yeah,
Yeah.
please.
Is there a community somewhere for all the 99ers? Is that what you
I'm
call 'em?
sure
Is that what they
there
call
is.
it?
They're-
I
they're-
actually know someone who there was a tournament a few weeks back.
A
probably a
Tetris
month.
99
There
tournament?
was a Tetris
Yes,
99
there was.
tournament, and the top
Wow.
99 players in the world got like $10 free Nintendo credit.
Oh.
And then I think like the
So-
top 10 or 20, they actually flew out somewhere. And
Yeah,
they-
some
they
did
sort
it
of
to a-
tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was I did not even know about it until it was happening, but I know some people in a community I'm in online
Yeah.
that
So
won that, so I was jealous.
Moral of the story is step it up, Caitlin.
Yeah, I know, I got to.
They
I got
call
to step up my
themselves.
game.
Yeah, they call themselves the 90 Miners.
You made me think of how, like, in Destiny, the people who clear the Trials of Osiris get that special area. There's
Oh,
a special
man,
lounge for
yeah.
all the Tetris 99 champions
Yeah,
that we'll
sure.
never know.
Yeah.
But it's in real life, though.
Yeah.
I never experienced the Osiris, so I know the feeling.
Yeah, neither did I.
Yeah.
Like, I experienced it through YouTube. That's how I saw it.
And you went, ooh,
that looks real
I'll
nice.
never go there.
Well, actually, there will be a quick break where I need to try the new Avengers Fortnite thing.
That's right.
So I will be taking a small break from Tetris 99 to jump into that and start
What
playing that.
are they doing with that? I don't even know.
Yeah, let's
did.
go into the news.
Yeah,
That'll be
News,
the first
first thing.
News.
So I guess first thing, Fortnite crossed over with Avengers.
Yeah, it did. Hard.
Hard, starting on Thursday. So everybody here saw Avengers, though, right?
No,
We all saw.
I didn't see
Yeah.
it.
You didn't see it at
I
all.
saw it.
Yeah,
no,
you didn't you see it with someone?
no. He
I
was
was
watching his frozen lemonade.
I was
as he
busy
eating it.
eating frozen lemonade
Yeah.
in the theater, but no, I saw it.
But yeah. So it's because they've done the Thanos crossover before.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that last year with
Thanos.
Infinity.
Yeah, I was about to say, I remember that.
You mean good old Thanos?
Thanos.
Ah,
God.
Thanos?
hate that guy.
Thanos. Yeah, but it's a little different this year, right?
Yeah, this year, before it was one person played the role of Thanos. This year, everyone is a superpower or ultra powerful villain.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's
In the game?
In the game, it's
So-
instead of being 100 free for all, it's 2 teams of 20.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
It usually ends
everyone
up being
gets
15.
like a
'cause everyone-
superhero, like an Avenger power.
You get triple the amount of health, and then there's treasure maps with Avenger specific weapons like Iron Man's glove and Hawkeye's explosive bow and Captain America's shield. So
oh, this
Wow.
sounds okay.
it gets really
and
dope.
there's 2 different teams though. So you have basically the humans, which are searching for the Avengers weapons, but then the humans are also fighting off the villains, which are the Chitauri.
Yeah, that's how you say
Really?
it.
So everybody's a Chitauri, but the first person who touches an Infinity Stone on the Chitauri side becomes Thanos.
Thanos.
Thanos. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just going. I'm rolling with it. I'm rolling with it.
go for it.
So,
Thanos.
so they're gonna. So the first person who touches it becomes him, and so, but So they're trying to collect all of the Infinity Stones, and the other side's trying to prevent them from doing that.
This sounds like fun.
So
am I gonna have to re-download Fortnite
Yes.
again?
yeah, you got to redown it, man.
How many times am I gonna delete that off of my system and re-download it?
But it's not just that. The Chitauri side only has a certain number of respawns.
They get 100 lives, and the humans get unlimited
But
lives.
But the Chitauri start out a little bit weaker than the humans, but as they collect Infinity Stones, they get more power.
This sounds like fun. The
Yeah.
more systems that they put in it, I'm kind of more interested.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it sounded really awesome. Even I was like, man, am I gonna have to download Fortnite?
Listen, we can make a Taste of Dragons team.
We could.
Ooh.
We
Yeah.
could.
We
all
could, yeah,
all
it'd be
five
fun,
of us.
fun
Yeah.
times.
So you still have Fortnite on your system,
I have to
Lewis?
re-download it.
Yeah, we
Oh
all
my
have
God.
to.
I deleted it. I have to because I had to make space for like full games that I was playing.
You have a Switch?
Yeah, I guess.
I like playing it on my Switch better than my PS4, but I'll play it
It's-
on either.
It's free on the Switch too.
It's free on
right?
everything.
It's free
Okay,
everywhere.
I'm
It's
just
a free
making
to
sure,
play.
man. Making sure.
Let's see here. What else in the news? Persona announced 2 new games.
Yes.
They pretty much trolled everyone as well in the process.
It hurt.
Yeah, they said that it was called the P5S was like the code name for everything. So they're like, oh, Persona 5 Switch. It's gotta be it.
Nah.
What was it, Zach?
It's Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers,
Yeah.
which is basically Dynasty Warriors Persona.
Yep.
Yep. It's funny.
That's amazing. Like that's the best bait and switch ever.
It's on Switch still, but
Yeah.
Oh, but it's not what you
It's not
truly
Persona 5.
want.
I wanted the Persona 5 Golden whatever on Switch so bad.
You're not gonna get that for a bit.
No,
no,
Well,
you're not gonna get it.
No, but it should have been though
day.
because normally they release them like 3 years afterwards
Yeah.
after they initially release, and they do the golden edition or whatever where it's all the DLC and it adds a couple of extra things. Not this time.
Well, it's coming out for PS4.
Yes, it's coming out for the PS4, but not for
Yeah.
Switch.
One
It's-
day it might.
Japan's getting it this year. We're getting it undefined date 2020. And yeah, like he said, it's going to be like as Persona 4 Golden was to Persona 4. This is to Persona 5. New
Dopeness.
characters, new dungeons, new semester to school, new story beats.
Yeah,
You know, so
new everything.
New life.
Persona 5, the RPG, Japanese RPG school fighting game
yes,
Yep.
Yes.
That's
in your mind.
accurate.
and relationship simulator.
yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
and it's
There,
awesome.
there was also a dancing game. It was really fun.
2 dancing games.
Yeah. Well, Persona 5 only had one.
Oh, it's true, but it was
It came out the same time Persona 3, and Persona 4 also has one.
yeah. That's what I meant by 2
Yeah.
because they came at the same time.
They came out in like a packet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see here. Was that? Or was that? Zach? Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Nothing.
Okay. All right then. Xbox also announced a console with no DVD or Blu-ray drive. So it's basically just a digital console. So, but I think it's only gonna be like what, $200 or something like that.
It's $250, which I find
$250?
weird because you can get the regular Xbox for like $250 right now. So I don't understand the bonus, but
I don't know. Maybe it has a bigger hard drive.
I don't know.
I can't remember. But
Maybe
yeah,
it's smaller.
Is it?
it could be smaller.
Could
yeah.
be.
And then also Square took over Sony's E3 spot, correct?
Yes. I don't know if that time slot actually means anything to them, or if that's just how they scheduled it.
I wonder.
But I made a little note here that I'm pretty sure this is right. The last time we saw anything from Final Fantasy VII Remake was 2015 E3.
I think you're right.
So I think is it time to shine, or what are they going to do?
At least at E3, correct? Yeah, because I think I've seen a couple of behind the scenes and a couple other things.
Because I know they rebooted development at like 2 years after they even showed it, or something like that.
Yes,
so.
they did. Yeah, once Final Fantasy 15 was done, they shuffled him over.
We're not going to see that game.
Because I don't know what else Square has going on. They got that Avengers game they also announced forever ago that they've showed not even trailer for.
Yeah.
That's this year to shine, man.
I guess, yeah.
That's
yeah,
it.
Maybe.
they're gonna do it now.
Maybe
the time.
another Kingdom Hearts game.
It's gonna come on the PS5.
If they're still the Square of old, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Final Fantasy 16 teaser.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
See that?
And then it comes out in 7 more years.
And they'll probably tease the DLC that they keep talking about that's going to come to Kingdom Hearts.
I thought that already dropped.
Critical Mode did come out.
Yeah,
I mean,
Critical Mode came out.
Story-wise.
But it's the
yeah,
story
yeah.
DLC, yeah.
Oh, right.
Absolutely. They're gonna announce they're gonna re-announce Final Fantasy 15 DLC.
Oh,
which,
God.
Oh God.
Which, man, I really do want to play the new one that they came out with, but it was supposed to be a package deal with like 2 other ones. I can't remember what they were, but it's like, man, I wanted to play like all 3 of those, even though I haven't even played the other 3 that I've downloaded.
I'm done.
I know.
I'm done.
Yeah, Troy was able to finish it.
I played that game. I platinumed that game. I
Yeah.
played all 3 of those chapters, 4 of those chapters, and
Yeah.
the extra stuff. I played some Assassin's Creed side story thing.
Okay, that was
I'm
that
done.
was awesome.
Like, it was like it's been a year. It's been 2 years.
Now there's Arden. They
No,
released an
there's
Arden
more,
one.
man.
No, I'm not
Now you gotta
re-downloading Fortnite and Final Fantasy
You
15
gotta
back
go
onto my
back.
console.
You
One's
gotta
gonna
go
take
back.
up a lot less space. I'm just
Hey,
saying.
you also have the VR, so you could be playing Monsters of the Deep,
Oh, yeah.
which is the
What?
fishing mini game. They released a fishing VR.
Yeah, but I didn't like the fishing in that game so much.
Yeah,
so
but
it
in
didn't-
VR.
Really?
Well, you
No.
suck.
I know. It didn't do it for me.
No?
I got the legendary thing.
Oh, of
the
course,
legendary
yeah.
fish.
Yeah, because you platinumed it. So.
Yeah, but
You were
I wasn't
forced to.
happy about it. Yeah.
Begrudgingly so.
Yeah. And then Zach, you had some of the console numbers. They released.
Oh yeah, I thought
numbers.
this was interesting. It's no secret. PS4 is like one of the best-selling consoles of all time.
What?
They like literally just today they announced they hit 96.8 million, which makes it the 6th best-selling console of all time. Console, device, handheld, all of those things. So I don't.
When did PS4 come out again? 2016.
I have the 2013.
Yeah.
PS4 came out in 2013.
Yeah.
I had
Yes,
the same.
sir.
Are
thing.
you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Isn't that
Nope.
crazy?
Nope. 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
No
Hey,
wonder
time,
the PS5 is being announced.
Yeah.
time flies when you're having fun, huh, guys?
And I've had the same one.
Oh, really? You have a launch day?
Yeah.
Are you not a PlayStation 4 professional?
Apparently not, man. I don't got that pro money.
Okay, all right, man.
I thought it'd be interesting to check your guys' knowledge. I have the top 5 written down, and I want to see if any of you guys have a guess as to what they are.
Okay, in which order do we need to?
Let's start with number 1. of
Number
all
1
time.
is Virtual Boy.
Done.
Done.
Neo Geo.
I'm gonna go Game Boy.
Game Boy?
I'm gonna say the DS.
I'm going with PS2
It's the
because I know
PlayStation
it's
2.
It's the
PlayStation 2.
PlayStation.
Ah, man.
PlayStation
I actually
2.
know this.
They weirdly didn't have a definitive number. They just stopped counting, I guess. But it sold more than 155 million.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they one of the estimates I saw was like 180 million at
Right.
some point. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
And that flurry of answers, numbers 2 and 3 were both said.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I have to say DS now for number 2.
Number DS was number 2.
right.
154 million units.
Yeah.
Number 3,
Game Boy?
Game Boy.
All right.
Game Boy and Game Boy Color were counted as one device at
Understandable.
almost 119 million, and then 4 and 5.
It's got to be the Wii.
The Wii?
The Wii is number 5
Ooh,
Number
okay.
five.
at 101.63. So number
Okay,
4,
I'm gonna go PlayStation.
the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Solid choice.
Yeah.
Damn.
Take that, Xbox.
I was about to
Right?
say, I'm
Like-
like, Xbox not on that
And,
list.
and, and
Oh.
man,
Sony and Nintendo got it split.
why did Sega stop releasing systems? Oh,
Oh, right.
And I also just one more interesting fact, just to compare for this generation. Xbox One also came out in 2013, and it sold 39.1 estimated units comparatively
Oh, no.
to the 96.8 the PS4 sold.
yeah.
And then
Ooh.
if we're counting the Switch as the same generation, which came out in 2017, has already sold 34.74.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
Oh,
is
wow.
just... That's crushing.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
And
Somebody's
that's
gotta play
why
you.
they're trying to go to streaming on their Switch, I'm sure.
Like
Oh, for
Microsoft
sure.
has been trying for a while to break into Japan.
Yeah.
They just can't
Doesn't
do it.
work.
Nope.
Like when we were over there, there's hardly anything for
Really?
Xbox.
Mm.
When we
Yeah.
were looking through, because we did all the retro video game hunting, I don't even recall seeing Xbox games anywhere.
Yeah, I saw a couple here and there, but
But
Not-
it was pretty much at PlayStation and
you know,
Nintendo.
scarce.
I
yeah.
even saw like Genesis and a bunch of older ones before I would see
Xbox.
an Xbox.
Yeah,
Damn, that's
yeah, it
crushing.
was pretty crazy.
Crushing.
So let's go on to our semi-new topic, which is our Dragon of the Week.
Yeah.
Dragon of the Week.
Give us that.
Ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-bum-bum.
I was
We
gonna
come
say,
up with some
I
kinda
figured
cool-
Troy probably wrote a theme song, right?
Yep, this is it. I'm the Dragon of the Week. Yeah, don't be meek. I'm the Dragon of the Week. Come on, get that D of the week.
Nice.
Of the week. Finish him.
I like it.
And then it just starts with your 13-second loop.
Ah.
And then it goes. "Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da."
Listen, I can't hear that song.
All right, well, Zach, you have our Dragon of the Week,
Give us
correct?
that good stuff.
I do.
Give us that good.
This
Oh, wait,
is-
let's explain what Dragon of the Week is real quick.
Oh, you
Oh,
can do
yeah,
that?
Dragon of the Week is... you know what, Troy? You're better at this.
He was like totally not ready for this.
No.
Sorry.
I know, that's why I said it. It was easy.
Dragon of the Week is a feature where we get to show a little love, throw a little love onto the industry of which we are here talking about. We are 5 friends who have been talking about video games at taco nights for years and have now decided to record things. So we want to throw a little love back onto the industry that has given us so much love. So Dragon of the Week is a way for us to highlight a professional from anywhere in the industry, whether it's big developers or just an indie composer, whatever it may be, someone who we admire. So every week we're going to try and have just someone in the industry who is cool. So this week, Zach's got a Dragon of the Week. So take it away, Zach.
Yes, probably. I mean, not probably the most important guy in video games, or maybe just in general to me. I've followed his work as long as I've been a fan of video games, and if you maybe have heard of him, his name is Nobuo Uematsu.
That's exactly what his music sounds like.
I knew it. Just a lot of trumpets. No, when you sent that list over, I like listened
You
to
got
like
to check it
little-
out.
Yeah, I got to
So
check out some samples.
preface to the audience, maybe we could like share it in like a description link or something like that. I shared some of my favorite tracks since there's not like a really good way to throw music in here without like being copywritten and sent to oblivion.
Nobuo Uematsu is the freaking man.
You know what? It's one of those things where I think about it and I'm like, am I cliche for being like bringing him in as such a fan? I'm like, no, he's the best. He's
awesome.
He's the best. I'm going to go down a list of a bunch of information I wrote about him. Feel free to interject so I don't get long in the tooth or anything like that. He's most famous for writing the music for the Final Fantasy franchise, specifically 1 through 9 in their entirety by himself. He's also contributed to Final Fantasy 10, 11, 12, 14, and 15. He's contributed to at least 80 video game soundtracks, a little bit of anime as well. Other notable games were The Romancing Saga, Chrono Trigger, Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey.
So many good
He
games.
composed the Super Smash Bros. Brawl main theme.
Come on, guy.
The Last Story, Grand Blue Fantasy. He wrote the score for the Final Fantasy 15 Comrades DLC.
Yeah.
And I mean, it goes on and on and on. And then beyond that, he's like made his own rock groups that he's made CDs with and toured with.
He's like a cool dude on top of being
Like this list.
On top of being a classical guy, he's a
Yeah.
rock guy.
Yes.
And he's also really funny.
Is he?
Apparently. I don't know his jokes because he
Rumor
mostly
has
speaks Japanese. But we saw
People
him
laugh.
we saw him in Japan
Really?
for a Final Fantasy concert, and he just kept spitting out jokes and everyone kept laughing. I was like, this must be amazing.
How old is this guy? About?
Forever.
In his 60s-ish.
60s?
Yeah.
What I think sounds right.
Did you say he's forever?
Forever
How old
old.
is this guy? Forever.
He's an immortal.
Forever young.
Forever 60.
And actually, what he was saying at the concert was, "Hey, everybody just laugh, so everybody who doesn't understand me just thinks I'm
us,
hilarious."
the two white people in the
I see them; they're up top.
Oh, he's exactly 60. Caitlin just pulled up the information. so-
Awesome.
Oh man, fact checking, nice.
Yeah, she mentioned we saw him in Japan at the Tokyo Philharmonic, and I've been fortunate enough to see him 4 times stateside. Not see him particularly orchestras perform his music. However, he did pitch in at that last concert and actually played a little bit himself.
wow.
So
Zach, you're a true fan. Like,
Yeah, man.
I've grown up with this music as well. I've definitely, when Napster was around, that was my first hits were his pieces. But I haven't had the privilege of seeing him once, let alone.
well, it's crazy.
4
The first
times.
time that I did, I actually was when I met my old roommate. Well, I mean, I knew him for a long time. I knew him because we played Final Fantasy 11 online together for years.
Okay.
And he's like, "Oh, there's this thing, Distant Worlds. It's going on in Chicago. Like, you want to go to it?" And so he literally like drove from New York, stopped by, picked me up, and we went straight to Chicago. And I just sat there in the theater and I cried because I was like, "I'm around my people. This is amazing. Oh my gosh!" And then I see him now still, and I still have the same reaction. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, that concert that he went to see him at was called Bra Bra Bra.
yes.
Yeah,
What does
it's-
that stand for?
Rah rah rah.
They're,
I'm assuming,
well,
yeah,
they're a
yeah.
brass ensemble,
Yeah.
primarily. So I assume it has something to do with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but more biography. He is a self-taught piano player from the age 11, so he never even had formal
He's
training
the
in
coolest.
music.
That's just not fair, man.
As a teenager and growing up, he played in bands and composed TV commercial jingles. He was actually approached by Squares. They came to him while he was working at a music rental shop, and they were like, "Hey, you want to help out with some projects?" And he was just like,
Jeez.
Oh my
"Yeah,
god.
I guess I'll make some side cash. I guess I'll help you guys out."
This is day one Square though, so they're also not big yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
They're
and
still.
well, that's it gets onto because then you get into the history of Final Fantasy with that whole lore about why it was called Final Fantasy, because they really needed it to be critical success because they were on the verge of going bankrupt.
It was
going to
be their Final Fantasy.
Yeah, he met Hironobu Sakaguchi, which is the godfather of the franchise, and they were lucky that the Final Fantasy 1 was a huge critical success.
It's a good thing they made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
And he stayed, even though that was a side project, he worked with them from, however, I didn't do the math on when year that was, but he worked with them until about 2004, where he decided to break off and like do more personal things and whatnot. I say that, but then he continued to help them out with all those other Final Fantasy games I said that I mentioned. He had his friendship with Sakaguchi, who made Mistwalker Studios. That's where he composed the soundtracks for Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey, which is another one of my favorite games of all time.
Right on.
And also the Smash Brothers Brawl theme was in there somewhere, which I didn't know he wrote that.
Me neither.
So when I've said it to you guys, I was
Yeah.
actually, because I don't have an affinity toward the Smash series like you guys do, so I thought you guys would get a huge kick out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I didn't know that either.
He was one of the first video game composers ever to appear in this like Hall of Fame that recognizes classical music composers. And Aerith's theme from Final Fantasy VII was one of the first video game music pieces to ever be included in a recognized thing like this.
Aw. Cool.
So
That's a sad piece.
it's
The
amazing.
best piece. No, it's no One-Winged Angel.
I know.
That's-
It's hard to beat One Winged Angel.
No.
You call it Winged?
I call it Winged.
Wow, you're so classical,
I
man. You get
Winged.
Listen here, Thanos.
Thanos Winged. Man, beautiful work.
His music speaks for itself to the point where in 2003 that's when they first started doing concerts that were just dedicated to celebrating his music, and it culminated in what's Distant Worlds now, which started in 2007, and it's still going on now. So it's just concerts that tour worldwide just to play the stuff that he's written. So I think it's pretty amazing. Like Brian was saying, he's not just the classical guy, he's like the metal guy. He's like super influenced by like Jimi Hendrix and Elton John, but then also Tchaikovsky and all kinds of stuff. The interesting tidbit is talking about Final Fantasy VII again. He apparently was inspired by Jimi Hendrix's Purple Haze when he wrote One Winged Angel.
All right.
I don't see the inspiration there, but it's
Oh,
fascinating.
totally.
Really?
The guitars rip in during,
Okay.
during the middle of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that sweet Sephiroth in the background.
Ooh.
Like, it's dope. Like that song is so good that every single time they're for the Distant Worlds specifically, they are contracted in. They have to play that song at every single stop. that they
Really?
do.
Wow.
Because they normally cycle out their songs, for
Yeah.
each stop. That way, you don't know what you're going to expect. But there's that one. I think Aerith's theme and a couple of other ones. I think there's like 4 or 5 songs that they are required to play at every single stop.
That's right,
they
they
do.
should.
Yeah.
It just hit me, the Jimi Hendrix song, right? Purple Haze, it starts. Bram, 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 bram,
Yeah.
bram,
There you go.
Yeah.
That's how One Winged
You're
Angel
right.
starts.
You're right.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That just reminds me of one of the best memories of him. If you're lucky enough to go to a show that he's actually attending, he'll come out on stage with One Winged Angel and just like pump up the crowd and get you to sing and stuff like that. He says he's a character.
He has a sweet one angel wing on.
Yeah, he does.
Just hanging off. It's dope.
I also included that he's also so like beloved because he's known for elevating other people's careers. One particular note was there's a Chinese pop singer named Fei Wong who had one of her like highest selling records of all time whenever she helped sing the song that he wrote for Final Fantasy VIII called "Eyes on Me."
Yeah.
So
I got goosebumps just thinking of that song.
Not only that, but he not only does he make music, but people he works with, he elevates their careers just by being involved with him, and it's amazing. And
inspirational.
I would be elevated if I was involved with him.
Yeah.
Why I love him, I guess if like I know Lewis, you besides 15, you haven't played a Final Fantasy, so
Unfortunately
it's hard
not.
to get that.
Yeah.
His soundtracks, there's a lot of really great composers, but his soundtracks, I think, are on another level. In which the soundtracks to me are just as integral to telling the stories of Final Fantasy as the characters and the writing and everything. He clearly has such a huge respect for the medium that he is thinking about you know how like when you watch movies sometimes the music's just there in the background and that's the purpose it serves.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I'm gonna write a song that defines every scene that it's in. I'm gonna write a song that defines this character. Especially those early games, he would write themes for every single character in the game. So when you heard that theme, you're like, oh, I know who that is, kind of thing. It's just very identifiable. And I feel like when I hear his music, it's very. I know that I always have a hunch. I'm like, I think he probably wrote that.
And it was genius, especially early on when you had limited animation. You couldn't. With a character, you couldn't emote everything about that character, and the text could only go so far. So with his music coming in for every character to have a musical theme for it, it actually informed the emotion of that character that you couldn't show at that time, which I think is one of the reasons why Final Fantasy has become such a hit.
And I get a kick because to this day, a lot of those Final Fantasies I haven't played in years, but if I put the soundtrack on, it's like I can play the game moment through my head just by each track. I know exactly where it's going because the music is so tied to every moment of that game. And I don't know that. I mean, there are some other games like that, but I feel like everything he touches is like that, and that's what makes him stand out. It's incredible. And I wrote in all caps here. The thing that always blows my mind is he wrote a freaking opera for a video game. Final Fantasy VI. There is an opera, a full opera, and it is amazing.
Wow.
There's just nothing that he can't do if he doesn't want to do it, and he's awesome. I literally have a picture framed on my wall when I met the guy. He cares about his fans. He cares about the medium as much as I do. So it made me really sad whenever I think it was last year, he said he was not retiring, but stepping away from stuff for like personal health reasons and stuff like that.
He's probably going to become like a big cook now. He's like, no.
I guess I'll start cooking or something.
I've had enough of the music thing. Who wants omelets? Yeah, he is just in every type of flavor of amazing that you could possibly have. Like for me, why I love this composer so much is his daringness to be experimental. He will try to blend genres together, like you mentioned, Stravinsky with Jimi Hendrix, with the theme from Psycho. Like he'll just try things, whatever it takes to get the emotion that he's going for. He'll put together, and he's so distinct to every single one of his tracks from each other. Yeah, maybe we're too nostalgic because we kind of grew up with it, but I don't know. I think it's amazing.
It could be, but some of it, especially a lot of those old Final Fantasies, I didn't play till I was an older age. I grew up with the 7, 8, 9 era, which to me is some of his best work. But then again, like you said, it could be nostalgia. But going back and listening to old stuff, especially the limitations of the hardware at the time, the melodies he was able to compose and put on those cartridges and whatnot. It's incredible what he was able to accomplish.
I actually take it back because I remember when we lived in the world where you could download anything for free for a little while. I downloaded his music, so I had actually heard the theme to Final Fantasy V and 4 before I've ever even played the game. So I was he was actually my introduction to those games, and I would
Right.
listen to the soundtracks. At that time, there wasn't a way to play them if you didn't have access to some Japanese console or something.
Yeah.
So then when I finally did play those games when they got released for the DS or whatever, years and years later, I was already familiar with it tonally just through his music. And that's a testament by itself.
Yeah, absolutely. You
Yeah,
were going
for
to say
sure.
something earlier, Caitlin?
Well, it's not just the nostalgia glasses. I think because like I personally played the first Final Fantasy on Game Boy Advance, but that's it. I've never played another Final Fantasy until I met Zach, and even then we've only played like the first 2 or 3 hours of Final Fantasy 7, and then maybe like the first 2 or 3 hours of Final Fantasy 10. We keep meaning to go back to them. It just
That's a
hasn't
shame.
happened.
Boo.
I was actually just
But-
thinking about that recently. We need to play that.
Yeah, but I've listened to a lot of his music because Zach will always pick him when we're driving in the car or something like that, and like it's all awesome. I don't have them all memorized. You could be like, "What is this track?" And I'm like, "It's from Final Fantasy," but I can't tell you which one.
Yeah.
But it's all amazing, and I still like I'll know the songs without knowing what games they're from and stuff like that, and it's great, and it's made me want to play the games more. Time.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't even matter if he doesn't, if he does truly retire, he will still always be involved in those Final Fantasies, because even in Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 or whatever, all of his earlier tracks are still used in all of the newer
the
games.
prelude.
They're either remixed into it, or there's some sort of tonal harmony with it with a new track, or it'll just be in there completely left alone. He will always have a touch on future Final Fantasies.
Yeah. And honestly, even beyond that, I've only played Final Fantasy 15. Unfortunately, I'm gonna go back and play the ones that they've released for Switch. But even beyond that, like you guys were describing, how he found a way to make music elicit emotions that the technology couldn't do at the time. And after playing Hyperlight Drifter, I was playing that game, and that game uses no text. It just uses images and music. And it'll use like one specific like piece of music that will just tell you that this character is hurt, this world is dying, and the people around you are suffering. And anytime I would hear it while playing, I would just be like, wow. And that it's even though I haven't heard a lot of his music, it's obvious that it's an influence.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a personal thing for me, but what I've always said, because even beyond video game music, I have always preferred to listen to instrumental music, because I feel like when music is utilized effectively, it says more than dialogue or what
Agreed.
words can say 100%.
Definitely.
And, just looking at that list of songs I sent you guys again, it would be one of my very first memories of playing a video game is the opening to Final Fantasy VII, that bombing mission. And that bombing mission is still one of my favorite songs ever written.
Oh, yeah.
I get goosebumps when I still listen to that song. I might not be able to remember the exact dialogue from those opening scenes, but I remember that, and I know exactly what's going on, and it just time and place thing, and it's timeless.
Yeah, for me, it's Ares' theme. Like that one it has such an uplifting, yet when it's used, it's like it can be simultaneously uplifting and like heartbreaking at the exact same time, because it's used in both of those scenarios at different times. And then even when just reminiscing about her in the game, or when they're celebrating her in the game, they still use the same music. And it could be the exact same part of it, and it's still one of those
Empoweringly sad.
Yeah.
Is that your favorite of his tracks?
No, One Winged Angel.
One Winged
You
Angel?
can't
Yeah.
beat the Sephiroth.
No,
Do you
like
have
that.
a favorite, Zach, out of all of them?
My absolute favorite.
Obviously, it's the Chocobo theme song. I mean, come on.
I mean, it always gets a response at
It
the shows.
does.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I love that one.
It's amazing how many times he's iterated just on that theme.
It is.
But I think it actually might, as like a composition, the bombing mission, I think, because it starts out with that da 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 da, and it's
Yeah.
like setting up like a motion picture, but then it's da 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 da. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh man, I just the feeling of that game. It's like we're throwing you right in, and story wise, you're literally being terrorists and you're taking down this government thing, and it's just like if you're first time playing that game, you're like, you don't know what the hell the greater story is, and that music is just like defining the
Right in
moment
the
for you.
middle.
You're just
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the constant. And then when it cuts to the, you know, the battle themes, it's perfect. The only other thing I would think that was close to it is it's usually the contest. What's the better final boss theme? It's One Winged Angel or Dancing Mad from Final Fantasy VI, and I love One Winged Angel, but I think I have to go Dancing Mad. One of those two would have to be my favorite. But
Hey, everybody can be wrong. How about you, Trey?
I think my favorite of his tracks would be "Eyes on Me" because that's from Final Fantasy VIII. And when they first show it, it's kind of in a bumbling romance scene in a ball, and there's no words to it. It's just a waltz. And I remember actually like stopping and replaying that part over, like just scrubbing my save file just so I could hear just the progression. I just found it really lovely and just really beautiful. And I would, you know, as a middle schooler, go back and just listen to that to then find out that it does have words.
Yes, it does.
And it's also pretty good that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the
I kind of got 2 in 1 with that like one.
the last Distant Worlds that came into town, they actually brought her in as well.
Really?
And she sang the song.
She sang like 3
She sang
songs?
several songs because she's the singer that he goes back to. But yeah, she sang that song, and I was
Yeah.
like, and I was trying to remember. I was like, man, I know it's from 8, and I was like, I know it's familiar. But thankfully, they also have the screen behind it, and I was like, oh, that is where this is
that
from.
moment.
Man, this is such a good track.
Yeah.
I will say, even though I made the whole thing about instrumental, there are a few voice tracks, at least one in a lot of the Final Fantasies, later ones, and they're all great. You get the Eyes on Me, you get Melodies of Life from Final Fantasy
Melodies of
9.
Life, Final Fantasy 9. Gosh.
Yeah, that was really good.
Was he involved in Final Fantasy 10 too?
I don't think he was involved in that one.
words go up through the distance. The musical RPG? Come on.
That entire 10-2 is a musical masterpiece.
I know. Reaching you.
YRP is the greatest girl group ever.
Totes.
Katelyn, do you have a favorite track?
I think it's Bombing Mission
Boo.
or the Chocobo one. The Chocobo one's like my
Brian
favorite.
does not allow
silly one.
copies.
I
No,
don't.
he's not allowing it.
It's probably the first one I heard that actually like I remembered
Okay, no,
when I
that's
started
fair.
like listening to
The
them.
Man with the Machine Gun. Say that one.
The Man with the Machine Gun, Brian, that one.
That one's
That ran a
pretty
Final Fantasy VIII kick.
good. Yeah.
No, the Chocobo one I really like too.
Yeah,
Though when they were
Chocobo's
doing that
fun.
concert, they're like CH. Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's great.
it's fun.
I would ask you, Lewis, but you haven't really listened to any of the
Nope.
tracks. Yeah.
Out of the ones I sent you, do you remember which one you liked?
I like just listen to them like once individually. I don't remember titles.
I have a list of them right there.
Just pick one.
Just pick one.
Just
Don't pick Bombing
points.
Mission or Brian will judge you.
No, man, it's Chocobo. It's a Chocobo theme song. You don't have to look. It's the best.
I genuinely don't.
Wait,
remember.
One Winged Angel's not even on this list.
No,
What kind of list is this?
Because I feel like everybody's heard One Winged Angel.
Apparently
I was throwing
not.
something else in
No.
there.
Come back to me next week. I'll listen to some stuff by then.
All right, well, we'll come back to you next week then,
Yeah.
Lewis. All right, well, hats off to him.
Yes.
Yeah. Hats
Thanks,
off.
Zach, for bringing
Yeah.
our Dragon of the Week.
Dragon
to
of the
us.
Week, who
Yeah.
is
Nobuo Uematsu.
good, because I can't
I
pronounce
probably
it.
Yeah.
butchered. Yeah, I probably butchered it too, but
No, that's
it's
fine.
the best I can do.
It's way better than I would have done.
Well done. Well done.
Well done. So, all right. Good week, everyone.
yeah,
Good
A
episode.
lovely week.
I think
A
so.
lovely
Tasty week. I like
Yeah.
that.
So once again, thank you for listening to Taste of Dragons this week. We record in Tate's Comics in sunny South Florida and are powered by our friends, the 3000 Brigade.
Hey, yo.
Yeah. We love you, 3000.
Brigade.
You can follow us on Taste of Dragons social media and websites
At Taste of Dragons
everywhere.
everywhere.
And then tasteofdragons.com.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, tasteofdragons@gmail.com
Or gifts of cash.
Yeah.
or gifts of cash.
Monetary donations.
Or emotional donations.
Yes.
Ooh,
Give us-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lewis will be accepting physical donations.
I will. Give me your emotional juice.
Ew.
Emotional.
Ew.
Again, prom night all over again. Lewis.
Yeah.
Lewis will be accepting donations in the form of frozen lemonade.
Yes. Oh, man.
Is that what you call it? Gross.
Yeah.
It's so bitter. Well, once again, my name is Brian. You can find me online at a bunch of different places. Good luck.
My name is Lewis. I don't exist. Just kidding. I don't know. Go.
My name is Troy Davidson. You can find me at Eccentric on PSN. That's Xenturik. I play a lot of Overwatch. I'm also on Steam sometimes by the same name. See you online.
I'm Zach. I'm Davis Slayer on most gaming things. That's Daeva because no one ever spells it right. So there you go.
Good job choosing that hard to spell name, Zach.
I know, right?
Just like Eccentric.
Yeah, when you're in high school.
And then how about you?
And then I keep it simple. I'm Katelyn. You can find me anywhere at Penny Lane DC,
Except for that one place.
except for my email, which is not Penny Lane DC.
Boo.
Yeah,
That's right. You don't need people to
or
email
League
you.
of Legends.
Don't give people your
I
email.
remembered that the other day that I didn't get Penny Lane DC on League of Legends either.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to ask you. So it's almost past spring. Has Nancy Drew come out yet?
Listen, Brian, we don't talk about this because no, it hasn't. And according to the Reddit boards,
God, there are Reddit boards.
Yeah, there's a Reddit board.
Yes.
Someone messaged Her Interactive the other day, and they were like, "Hey, you guys either get off the pot." Essentially, is what they said. They were like, "Stop dangling this carrot in front of us. Either give us a release date or just say the game doesn't exist, because at this point no one believes it exists." And they just sent back like this 2-line, "Well, thank you, we appreciate your email. Hopefully we'll be able to let you know when the game comes out. Thank you for following us." And it was like, no, this whole thing was about, you just sent me a copy and paste response. They were so angry, and the subreddit was angry, and I was angry.
I will say, dangling a carrot in front of you is the most apt, metaphor, because almost nobody wants a carrot.
Listen, you laugh, but you will all be playing this game when it comes out.
Caitlin has been hotly anticipating
She
the
has.
latest Nancy Drew game.
She has,
for
and we have
those
all
catching
agreed
up.
to play it.
Yes.
So I look forward to playing it. Never.
Let that carrot
why they all
dangle,
agree.
baby.
It's gonna dangle. The angle of that dangle is gonna be never.
Dingle that dangle.
I am ready to play that game. I'm with you, Caitlin.
No.
Good.
Let's play some Nancy Drew
Done.
Yeah.
after we watch the movie.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
has already come out on DVD.
Yeah, so I'll be getting that in the next couple days so you can all watch.
Well, once again, thanks for listening. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Woo!
Ba-da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Everyone do their favorite Uematsu songs.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.